Hey folks, today we're just going to have a really quick look at D2L Brightspace integration with Auralia and Musician. So step one is your system admin will be able to go into external learning tools here and set up manage tool providers and add lti.risingsoftware.com here for you, and this can be applied globally across all your courses. So as an instructor you shouldn't need to worry about this. If your admin person needs to add that, then they can simply enter lti.risingsoftware.com in the launch point there, then enter the secret and key that we will supply for your admin person and add whatever names in there. Under security settings, it's worth enabling all these checkboxes and then simply applying, making this available to any of the courses. So that's step one. Step two is to set up a couple of different launches for Auralia and Musician. So back here under external learning tools, and again your D2L admin people should be able to get this up and running for you. Under manage external learning tool links, we're going to add a few practice launches here for you to use. So I'm just going to put in Musician practice. Now the URL for practice launch you can find on our website at risingsoftware.com. Risingsoftware.com, if you go to support and training and then go to our knowledge base, you can search for LMS or LMS integration and you'll find this particular page. And then down here you can see there are 4 different launch types. So the 2 that we're going to set up at the moment are the practice launches, so Auralia practice launch and the Musician practice launch. So I'm just going to copy this URL and paste that into there. Now all these settings you should be able to use the defaults. So we'll use the tool consumer key and secret that's already linked for us, and then I'll just select that to use the tool provider security settings, and then again we can choose which courses this particular tool is to be available for. Click save. Now we'll just do the same for Auralia. And again, getting the Auralia practice launch here. And so on, that will all be all set up already. And once again, just assigning it to the relevant courses. Great, okay, so we've got these first 2 launch modes set up. So it's important to note that with these particular launch modes, this just gives the student access to the general practice area in Auralia and Musician. And the results from these particular launches are not passed back to your D2L grading area. So this is more of a general kind of practice tool setup. So for instructors to add that to their courses under content, we can come in and I'll just quickly add a module here. Alright, week 1, I can add my existing activity and go to external learning tools, and I can choose musician practice, and that is saved there. So for students, as I mentioned, they'll be able to click on that and they will be taken in here to the practice area. So here they can click into any of the various topics and work with any of the syllabi that you have enabled for their class. So as I said, this is for general practice, and any work they do here is not reported back to the D2L gradebook. The results, however, are saved in your Auralia Musician cloud service, so if you need to review them, you can find them there. Okay, so next we're going to attach a specific task in D2L to a worksheet or a test in Auralia or Musician. So again, back under our content area here, we'll go to existing activities, external learning tools, and in here, rather than using the practice launches, we're going to create a new LTI link, and we're going to call this Week 1 Worksheet Intervals. Now for our URL here, rather than using one of the practice launches that we used before, we're going to use a task launch. So I'm just going to copy this musician task launch, pop that into there. Okay, legacy tools fine, create and insert. Okay, so the key difference here is by adding these specific launch types, the results will flow back into the D2L grading area. So I'm going to click on here now. As the instructor, I have to launch the software to link the task. Note back here, forcing me to launch the software. If I don't have the apps already installed, I can download them from here. Okay, so Musician has been launched. It takes us straight to our tests area, and in here we can choose a task. So let's just choose intervals basic, and if we want, we can preview this task here to check it meets our requirements, or we can create our own task, replicate an existing one and edit it, but we have other videos on creating tests and worksheets. And then I can attach the task here. Now, one thing to note is that if I do have multiple attempts allowed on a task that I've attached, then I can also choose which result is sent back to the D2L gradebook. So I can choose any of those options. I'm just going to choose the best completed attempt for now. Okay, so you can see over here our worksheet has the attached text next to it. So that task is now linked. Okay, so one other thing we need to do on this worksheet, let's select it, is to assign a grading item to it. Put a plus down here. So this is so that it will show up in the gradebook. Let's just make this worksheet. And you can obviously set your maximum score that's assigned there. Various other items. You can create and then save. So what that means is that when you go to your assessments and grades, when you come in to manage your grades here, you can see that there is our week 1 intervals worksheet. It's attached to an external learning tool. So this item will be graded and the result will be returned to the D2L gradebook. So the process for adding additional tasks is identical. You can go to existing activities, external learning tools, and each time it's important that you create a new LTI link. If you try to use this one again, it will kind of overwrite the previous one. So definitely, if I was going to create a week 2 worksheet now, I would create a new LTI link using those same URLs we mentioned earlier. Again, you can find them here. And for tasks, Auralia task launch, and that's really important to use that URL, and for musician tasks to use that one. So once again, just to be really clear about this launch mode, The task launch mode means that the results will be returned to the D2L gradebook, versus the practice launch that we set up earlier that can be more globally used in the programs. That launch mode, for that launch mode, the results are not returned to the grading area. Hope that helps. Please let us know if you have any questions.